What's up guys, I want to talk to you about the recent Bollywood movie Panipat. I have to admit right off the bat, I intended this video to be a critique of the movie's historical accuracy. I went to the cinema with my laptop to write notes straight after the movie and everything. But within 10 minutes of the start of the movie, I realized my entire plan was pointless. Because this was a Bollywood movie after all. The film was not made to be faithful to historical accuracy, and everything was dramatized to an extreme level, as is often the case with Bollywood movies. Nonetheless, Panipat did leave an impression upon me, so I'd like to present 3 things that I took away from the movie. But first, the plot. The movie basically revolves around Sadashiv Rao, a leading administrator/warrior of the family that runs the Maratha Empire, which was probably the most powerful force on the Indian subcontinent around the year 1760. And his subsequent effort to resist the invasion of Hindustan or India by Ahmad Shah Abdali, the king of Afghanistan, which ultimately led to the decisive battle of Panipat that the movie tries to portray. Now we can move on to the 3 takeaways. Number 1. The movie is about nationalism and not religion. Initially, when I watched the trailer of the movie, I got a sense that this was going to be a Muslims versus Hindus scenario, but as I watched the film, I gradually understood it was more about natives versus invaders, the Indian insiders versus the Afghan outsiders. The movie is clearly made from a modern perspective of a nation state. We know this because at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, we're told that Ahmad Shah Abdali never invaded Hindustan again after the Battle of Panipat. This is not true. He did invade Hindustan again, a couple of times after in fact, but it was a part of India that is now considered Pakistan, which at the time obviously did not exist. So when I first realized that the movie is more about nationalism than it is about religion, I was glad. But then I started thinking, in the movie, the defenders of India are still portrayed to be Hindu Marathas, which under normal circumstances does not have to be a problem. But considering that over the last 15 years or so, religion is experiencing a dramatic increase in politicization in India, it is understandable why a Muslim watching Panipat will think that Hindu equals hero, Muslim equals villain. That leads me to question, why would you even make a film like this? What are you trying to achieve? Other than making money, of course. Number 2. Let's talk about Ahmad Shah Abdali's portrayal. The antagonist in the movie is Ahmad Shah Abdali, the founder of the Abdali, or otherwise known as the Durrani Empire, and the man viewed by Afghans to be the father of their nation. He is portrayed as being brutish, prone to outbursts of anger, a warrior whose character is shaped more by primal instincts than the refined and cultured warrior that Sadashiv Rao is portrayed to be. In reality, this depiction of Ahmad Shah Abdali is very unfair. Very, very unfair. He was a man of high taste that created a royal court at Kandahar that was filled with all sorts of established scholars who he patronized. As well as being a very capable military leader, he was also a poet in his native Pashto language. He was well traveled and moved in circles that included emperors, kings, military generals, and some of the finest literary figures of his age. Quite clearly, he was not just a brute like the movie more or less portrays him to be. The third and last thing that I took away was that it's a matter of perspective. This is a more positive note. The director's choice to clearly favor the Maratha Hindus provided me with refreshing insight into a group that had often been portrayed as the other in the dramas or films I had previously watched. You see, when I was a kid, I watched various historical drama series in Urdu and Persian relating to Mughal history, Al-Andalus, and different Turkic empires as well. The one I remember most vividly was a Pakistani drama series about the 18th century Muslim leader of Mysore, Tipu Sultan. It was called something like the Tiger Lord. In that drama series, the Marathas and the Hindu rulers in general were conveyed pretty negatively, greedy, corrupt, and immoral. And when I was watching Panipat, I was reminded of the same way that the other, that which is different to you, is conveyed in a way which goes over the top to try to convince the viewer that that person is the bad guy. Needless to say, this can have a real dangerous effect. I mean, think about it. I can walk away after watching Panipat and think Ahmad Shah Abdali was obviously not that primitive or savage in reality, and the film only portrays him that way for dramatic effect. But I don't know if everyone walking away from watching the movie will necessarily think that. To be honest with you, I think this is a weakness of Bollywood, that it often has to rely on simplistic and extreme depictions of characters to get their point across. It's almost as if the director doesn't trust the viewer with nuance, because that obviously muddies the water and makes it more difficult for the viewer to make their own mind up, so the director will do it for them by not including nuance and instead just spoon feeding them. In any case, that's my 2 cents on the movie. This is the first video of this type that I'm doing, like a historical review of a movie or a drama series. If you want to see more of these, I know this wasn't a proper one, just let me know in the comments below. Until next time, peace!